Want to win yourself your very own Kingdom Report mug? All you got to do is leave the phrase that pays underneath this video at the Kingdom Report on YouTube. Go underneath this video right after our live broadcast is over and leave the phrase that pays Haunted Mansion Holiday. That's Haunted Mansion Holiday. The phrase that pays this week. You have between now and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time to get yourself your very own Kingdom Report mug by leaving the phrase that pays Haunted Mansion Holiday. If you are the winner, we'll reach out to you, let you know, and get that mug on the way. On today's Kingdom Report Live, we have some Festival of Holidays details coming to Disney California Adventure. A Wakanda celebration is heading to Avengers Campus. Disney World is being sued by Annual Passholders. Yeah. What's happening on the west is happening out east. More Disney World restaurants are reopening. We've got the details on that. Making the most of Disneyland holidays. That is what we will be discussing today, as well as one main reason why you visit Disneyland Park. Plus so much more. Kingdom Report Live starts right after the countdown.
Come to this happy place. Welcome.
The HojoAnaheim.com Mattercam giving us that live look outside at the Disneyland Resort. Far off in the distance, lots of construction going on. The Paradise Pier Hotel transforming into the Pixar Place Hotel. We also have the Matterhorn in the distance having just reopened, which is great news. If you want to get a chiropractic adjustment on your back, you can do so there. And of course, Space Mountain in the foreground looking so nice. How's it going, everybody? Wade for Kingdom Report Live back with you once again here from the Warner Brothers Studios Media District in beautiful Burbank, California. A cloudy fall day across Southern California. If you happen to be heading on out to Disneyland this week, going to be much cooler. So very much a positive thing to look forward to, as it has been so dang hot here recently. But now we are finally enjoying ourselves a little bit of fall. And make sure, if you are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, that you hit that thumbs up button or that like button. It means an awful lot to us. You're listening to us maybe via one of the many podcast platforms. Rate and review. That's always a tremendous help as well. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an update. This past week, a Disneyland update came your way with all kinds of things about the Disneyland Resort that are going on right now that you need to be aware of, including the amount of construction and how they've completely rearranged the Paradise Pier Hotel. If you happen to be staying there anytime soon, you have got to see this Disneyland update. Everything has changed in order to transform this place into the Pixar Place Hotel. All right, today we are going all in on the Disney Parks news and discussion like we do. Who's we? Well, I think you know. Good friends of ours, in fact. Terrifying Tyler Crouch.
Oh no.
Whoa.
A little
saying
crazy.
about me, Tony.
And cuckoo Katrina Manzone.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey,
Great
how
to
you
see you
doing?
both.
Hi.
Yeah, good to be here as always. Happy to.
You, man. Woo. That's me, all right.
That's you on our way to Halloween.
Yep.
What will you be dressing as this year?
Oh man, that's a good question. I don't really have that many Halloween costumes put aside. I could be a clown or I could be a Grim Reaper.
You have Ghostbusters costumes.
It's an interesting variety.
I could be a Ghostbuster. That's true too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice little Ghostbuster.
Yeah, we're actually going to be in Disney World. We're going to be doing the Halloween party out there on October
Halloween.
31st. So should be a really festive time.
And you didn't have a costume in mind for that Halloween party?
No, I feel like I'm terrifying enough myself. So
It's in the name.
it's in the
true.
name. It's on my Twitter handle. It's just the truth, everybody.
And Katrina, dressing up?
No.
Oh.
It just is me.
She's going to wear a little Halloween shirt.
Yeah. I have I have my Halloween little Disney World things to sport.
Yeah.
Gotta do my thing. But I don't really dress up that much anymore. I don't know
I'm
why.
disappointed
Just
to
kinda
hear that.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let the
It's-
childlike wonder.
I know. I mean, I
Rage
guess if I
on,
got
yeah.
like a yellow, it's like an easy one. If I got like some kind of like blonde wig, I can be like Emma Swan from Once Upon a Time because I have like a red jacket and stuff. But then no one really knows who that is anymore.
Yeah.
If it was like 10 years ago, I
Yeah.
guess I'd be really, really cool. But I did dress up as Regina once, which was like legit.
There was an era for that.
Yeah, I know. Not anymore,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. And that show like waffled between being pretty fun and also just probably the most terrible television
I
I've
lost
ever
it
seen.
at like the 4th season when they pushed in Frozen because they, had to use that IP. And then I was like, what? And then it went downhill.
They went through.
Man, that evil Peter
an
Pan was
awful
like
lot.
my favorite.
They're kind of like Grey's Anatomy. They were on for a really long time, even though Grey's Anatomy is still on.
I know, I lost it. I was like, I can't watch this anymore.
It's like how many times can we tell the same stories? How many times
But
can
they
we?
do it just a little bit different to make
They
it
do, yeah,
to make it
yes.
watchable, right?
Sure. I don't hear anybody making appointment television for Grey's Anatomy anymore. I don't hear it from people.
Oh no! I mean,
Yeah.
my mom and I used to watch it in college, like before Zoom and FaceTime and all this stuff. Like we were on the phone with each other, and
Yeah.
I was just sitting there watching it with her. And then she was like down south, and I was in college, and I was like, "Mom, oh my god!" And then we like watched it together. It was fun.
It reminds me of Jag too. Like Jag was one of those shows that was on the air forever, and but nobody ever watched it. And I
was forced to with my grandparents because
advertised
they
it like
loved
crazy.
it. They taped it
Oh,
back when there was like a VHS cassette
back then.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, VHSs.
Yeah,
Wow.
man. Yeah.
Way
Gotta
back.
rewind, and then I forgot to rewind once, and then my grandparents were like, "Absolutely not, Katrina. Not okay. Gotta rewind.
Go
Be
Jag.
Be kind.
Be kind.
rewind.
And rewind.
It's like that show Wings.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
ooh,
yeah.
yeah.
We're
Anybody
going
watch
back in
that?
time.
No, I don't think anybody ever did watch
It was
that.
on, it was on
Many people
forever
remember these
and in repeats. Anyway, we could talk TV for days, but we're all about the Disney news here, which is why we gather up all of the most important stories for you from the week. We bring it to you in this segment called the Disney News Review. Let's go. Disney News Review time. Taking a look at some of the biggest stories from across the Walt Disney Company over the past week. Kicking things off with news out of the Disneyland Resort. Holiday time on the way. Hip, hip, hooray. Here we go as the Festival of Holidays set to return to Disney California Adventure. In fact, the Orange County Register reports that Disneyland Resort's holiday festivities officially commence on Friday, November the 11th, and will run through January the 8th with odes to Diwali, Christmas, Navidad, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Three Kings Day. Crowd favorite musical acts like Mariachi Divas, Mostly Kosher, Fat Cat Swinger, and the Mistletoes will return for the kickoff of Disney Festival of Holidays at California Adventure Park. And during the day, the Disney Viva Navidad Street Party returns with the Three Caballeros, 12-foot-tall puppets shaped like Santa and Mrs. Claus, along with Mickey Mouse and Minnie dressed in their fiesta finest. And at night, World of Color Season of Light will once again light up Paradise Gardens Park. The Festival Foods Marketplace and the park's seasonal smorgasbord of multicultural cuisine returns with a new concept called Visions of Sugar Plums. The marketplace will offer sweet and savory bites, and the Disney Festival of Holidays Sip and Savor Pass, which includes 8 redeemable tabs that guests may exchange for tasting-sized portions of food and non-alcoholic beverages at the participating kiosks and dining locations, will also be available this year and is valid through January the 8th. And at Disneyland Park, of course, Believe in Holiday Magic Fireworks Spectacular coming back, lighting up the night skies on select evenings over Sleeping Beauty's Winter Castle. A Christmas Fantasy Parade returns down Main Street, USA, and of course, don't miss, it's a Small World holiday. Katrina, Christmas on its way. How would you suggest someone strategize around the Festival of Foods Marketplace? That festival is so popular every year at California Adventure. And exactly how should they plot it out? What should they plan for?
Oh, man. I know. It's just like there's so many options and they're all super tasty.
Yeah.
Right? And then, so kind of what you need to do is when they give you like get a booklet or just go online in advance and then just talk who you're going with just to see what they're going to eat on top of what you want to eat. Because honestly, I think sharing is kind of the way to go. And then if you like it, then you go back and get another one for yourself. That's like how usually we do it. Because sometimes there are days where we'll go and then we'll share it. And then sometimes it's not that great like you think it's going to be.
Try
and
it
then
first.
if you try it and you share it and then if it's good, you go back and go get another one. Because I forgot what we got last time. And then it was theory good. Mm-hmm. Execution horrible.
Not quite right.
I think it was. I didn't share it with you, but you got it. It was that puff pastry. Remember that the deconstructed Wellington.
Oh,
Ooh,
You love that. I remember you talking about it.
It was
I
like
liked
a hit
it.
and a miss.
Yeah.
Like there was one where you liked it, and then
Yeah,
the
then
second
you would
year
get it and-
was they cut it in half, and then they tried to pawn it off on people. It was really bad. Anyway. But I would highly recommend if you know that you're going to be eating more than like 4 things is to get that Sip and Savor Pass because it's totally worth it because a lot of the prices are pretty expensive. Like it's kind of like $7 and up for each item. So the Sip and Savor, if I remember, I don't know if they're going to raise their prices most likely, but I think it was like $55 last time and you get 8. So it's around like on average $6.80 per item. So you want to make sure you use these Sip and Savor tabs for items that cost $7 or more to make up the money. And then, so that's how I would do it. Honestly, I eat throughout the day. I graze. I don't really want to grab, 10 things at once and then just eat it all.
Sure.
So what I would do is I would just grab like a couple things, eat them, and then you'll probably be like, satisfied. And then you go on a couple rides and then grab some more stuff. So you just eat all day. And you don't feel like full or anything. You're able to like keep walking. Also, I don't know if they're going to do it this year, but last year was kind of like a hit or a miss on this as well, is when you go to the Sip and Savor, or not Sip and Savor, but when you go to the Festival of Holidays, you're able to kind of like pre-order your food to because these lines get super long at the booths.
That's right. Yeah.
They get super long. And so on select days, you can go to like one booth, but you need to know exactly what you want. And then you can just say, I would like this from this booth, this from this booth, this from this booth at like a booth that's not really busy. And then they'll give you a receipt. And then later on that day, like throughout the day, you can go and just use that receipt and then just cut the line and then just go up to the where they're serving the food and then they'll mark it off. That's also highly, it's like a huge time saver. Also, I think during the weekends they didn't do it. There's a couple times we did it and they were so busy that you had to go individually to each booth and do it. So you kind of just have to ask and then see if they're doing it that day. Because when it gets super busy, it is a mess. So time saver.
Stretching
ahead.
out all of those kiosks was really important in years past, and as it gains in popularity, it seems like every year, really having all of those festival booths not close together is more critical than ever.
Oh yeah,
because you definitely see that congestion all throughout the parade routes and
huge lines
all day long. Yeah,
and then also split up. Like that's what I did with Tyler and I. We would order instead of like ordering all at once with like one receipt. I would order a couple, and then Tyler would order a couple on 2 different receipts, and then he would go grab something, and then I would go grab something, and then we would get in a mutual spot. And then we would eat it.
Smart. Yeah, everybody come together in one
You know
spot.
what I mean? Because you don't want to go to one booth and then you grab food and then I can't eat it. So I'm just like, how does it taste?
Tell me about the texture.
Tasty. Okay, I'm gonna go get my food now. And then
I'm like,
I
it's
go,
so bad.
and then he goes, "Can I have a bite?" And I'm like, "No,
It's mine.
Yeah.
it's mine. You already had 2 things. Get out of here." Okay, fine, have a bite.
You know what I really miss is the Nashville hot turkey.
Oh yeah, they changed it up last year, huh?
And it's gone.
Wow.
And I don't think it'll come back. But I loved it so much.
You heard it here. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
That's all we want.
With that one little pickle,
I mean,
one sliver pickle.
one
That's
and done.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. One pickle.
One pickle.
But terrific advice when it comes to ordering in one spot for the entire, ranking of all of these booths, because especially on those days where a lot of those Southern California locals decide to come in and create the backlog and
Darn
try
California locals.
Oh, you locals, I tell you. It's important to definitely strategize and get your time and money's worth. So terrific tips. Thank you, Katrina. Moving along, and now we also have some news out of California Adventure and Avengers Campus. In fact, Thrillist reports that with the release of Black Panther Wakanda Forever on November the 11th, Disney is bringing a little of Wakanda to the Disneyland Resort to celebrate. The Wakandan elements will include characters roaming the park, Wakanda-inspired food and props on display across the Avengers Campus itself. They will also be an art installation at the Downtown Disney District created by artist Nicholas Smith, who made the original King Chad mural. All of the Wakandan features will be around California Adventure through January the 8th, and M'Baku, leader of Wakanda's Jabari clan, will be one of the characters moving around the park, leading an all-new experience called The Way of the Jabari. And the announcement says the experience will highlight the culture of the Jabari clan through chants and percussion. Near Avengers Campus, close to the Collector's Fortress, you'll find the Black Panther Celebration Garden, which will honor the legacy of the Black Panther in Wakandan lore. And the Hollywood backlot will play host to the Flavors of Wakanda Marketplace, where you can enjoy flavorful, spiced, traditional African dishes. And whether you're grabbing food at Flavors of Wakanda, Shawarma Palace, Shawarma Palace 2, or some of the food carts around Avengers Campus, you will have the option to pick up a replica of Shuri's gauntlet to hold your drink. And Tyler, you're a fan of Avengers Campus. What do you make of this Wakanda infusion? And would you like to see anything else relating to Black Panther done to the area?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, it all sounds like they're doing a pretty good job. I think it's really neat that they keep on kind of promoting the new stuff that's coming out with these awesome little events like the characters and stuff. I mean, they kind of kicked it off with Loki, and they've been just getting stronger and stronger, I feel, and it's just really neat. I'm happy they're doing it. I'm happy they're keeping things going. I almost feel like they're doing more to celebrate Black Panther than they are for the anniversary of Epcot. But
Whoa! Ay, yikes!
But
Sting.
I mean, it's awesome. I really can't fault them for anything. I feel like I think they're doing a pretty good thing here. I think the only thing I would say, not necessarily like does it need any more Black Panther stuff. I just think they just need to keep on going, like for all their properties in this. This is the thing: is Avengers Campus is pretty small. If you think about it, there isn't much going on when it comes to like attractions and things like that. They got one attraction. They got a little bit of food. So really, it really relies on these characters walking around,
right.
And it's been fantastic so far, and it's the type of thing that they need to be doing in Star Wars more often, and I think they can learn from that California Adventure side and just keep this stuff going. I'm excited for some of the food. I think that shawarma sounds pretty good. There's like a pork shawarma coming for a limited time, so
hell yes.
Yeah, just keep the shawarma coming.
The
That's
chicken
all I
sounds
need.
really good. That peri peri chicken with the rice. I was like, please be gluten free. It sounds really tasty.
The only thing that I wish they would do is change up the stunt show a little bit. Because it kind of revolved around Black Widow coming out, and I think that is just a big blank canvas for them to just paint a beautiful little stunt show on, and I think they could just keep on evolving that show. And I mean, they already have the kind of the left side area where the Black Panther like crawls up the wall. It just seems like it's ripe for seeing a lot of other superheroes do amazing things there. So that's the only thing I would say is just let's change up that stunt show every so often.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, the more Atmo entertainment, the better. And you're right. Yeah, let's get more acrobatics in there.
Yeah.
Let's have some things fly around too.
Yeah.
Oh my
that would be fun. I want to see the Green Goblin like flying around over.
Oh my
that'd
God!
be cool.
Can you imagine?
I would love that.
That would be nice. Yeah, some more mobile things in the air.
Oh my
gosh.
Yeah,
with like different Spider-Mans being like, "Hey," and then over there, "Hey."
Listen, I saw Casey Neistat fly on a giant drone, so why can't the Green Goblin? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Great idea.
insurance.
Get it done. Probably
He's like,
insurance.
this is too expensive.
I mean, we've seen what's happened to Spider-Man himself above his own attraction here
Yeah,
in recent
that's
months.
true.
And
Oof.
He seemed fine.
he did.
Yeah.
He's been through worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's definitely been through worse.
Yeah. I mean,
By the
you
Green
survived
Goblin.
Thanos. You survived the snap. You can survive a couple of banged up filters on a rooftop.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's right. Will you let us know? Are you looking forward to the Festival of Holidays? Any sort of particular food item that you would go out of your way for? On top of that, you going to see a little bit more Wakanda in Avengers Campus? We'd love to hear from you. Throw it in the comments. All right, y'all. We move out to Walt Disney World now with the following news. Walt Disney World has announced new additions and more dining options are returning very soon. Click Orlando reports that Walt Disney World has announced more exciting reopening dates for several of its popular dining locations. In the coming weeks, guests will get to experience new additions at Tusker House Restaurant at Animal Kingdom, Kona Cafe at the Polynesian Village Resort, and Akershus, the Royal Banquet Hall at Epcot's Norway Pavilion. Beginning November the 1st, guests will once again be able to experience a buffet-style dining in Tusker House, and the popular character dining experience in the Harambe Marketplace at Animal Kingdom is currently serving up food in a family-style format. When the restaurant makes its transition, guests will get to grab all the food they want. Also on November the 1st, guests at Polynesian Village Resort will get to experience Kona Cafe following its refurbishment. Over at Epcot, the Akershus Royal Banquet Hall will finally open its doors on November the 4th. The dining experience in the Norway Pavilion in World Showcase gives guests a taste of Norwegian cuisine. The family-style dining includes a number of items, including traditional chicken and dumplings, mashed potatoes and gravy, or grilled salmon. Disney said reservations are available now for both Tusker House Restaurant and Kona Cafe, and will begin opening up for Akershus, the Royal Banquet Hall, starting October the 24th. Katrina, what are some of the ways a person might snatch one of these coveted dining reservations, especially when something returns? It's like, oh, the demand soars all of a sudden because everybody has to be the first, everybody has to experience it. These are beloved restaurants. What sort of strategies would you employ to get your reservation?
It is a bloodbath. It is like a serious Hunger Games. That's what it is. Honestly, the biggest thing is wake up early. I mean, you gotta get up on the like reservation system ASAP. Make sure you're signed in already. So like what I would do is like if there is like a coveted reservation, you really want Kona Cafe, you really want Ohana. I mean, I honestly would save the link. I wouldn't really do it on your app is how I would do it. And I would log in, go to that Ohana page. So it's already there and you're only going to see Ohana show up. And then at that point, I would just make sure you're logged in on your computer. Also, if you have like an iPad or something, sign on to someone else's. And then if you're really good, you're able to like press the buttons all at like the same time, then do it.
Like a reservation making maestro.
Yeah, just like anyway, so that's what I would do. Also, never if you want breakfast, never select breakfast because they give you the breakfast, lunch, and dinner option, little tabbies. Never do it. Just choose like this. If you want an early morning one, I would just choose like 6 or 7 a.m. and then it'll show you within that 3-hour span. Never do breakfast because it's haywired and it's never true. I'm swear to God.
It's never true.
It's never true.
She's right. I mean, you put in lunch for something and it'll be like, no, we don't have any reservations.
We have
and
one
then
at
you'll put in like
1:15.
and then you'll put in like 2 and it'll be like, oh, there's one at 2:30 and you're like,
I've also experienced this.
yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Ridiculous. So those are like my kind of tips, and also the reservations. I don't know. Everybody says that so it's on Eastern Standard Time. So people say that it shows up at 6 o'clock. Some people say it's at 5. Honestly, I would I would just keep checking because there's days where I've heard that they've opened up at 3 and then I've heard that they've opened up at 5 and at 6. So I would just try at 5 or 6 o'clock and then just keep trying.
Keep trying.
And then honestly, as well, like if you don't get it on that first day, like just keep checking back periodically. Maybe it'll pop up. Also, kind of fiddle around with the quantity of people. So if you have 3 people, try 4. Don't be rude and do 5, and don't be rude and do 2. But you know, if you have a table for 3, they're probably going to put you at a table for 4. So try between like 3 and 4 or something like that. And if you're doing 1 and 2, Well, you're gonna have to stick with 2. So you can't do 1 because they'll probably stick you in like a bar area or something. So those are like my tips. Never choose like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's like my last resort. Is if you go through all the time slots and there's still nothing, maybe try going for the section that you want to see if maybe something else pops up.
Great strategies, and I've always done if I can't get it within the window of advance notice, of attempting to secure it well in advance of my trip, I always employ the tactic of doing the night before. Because everybody drops the reservations that they can't do the next day, and they don't want to get penalized. So that's usually
true.
when I've had my best luck, if I can't get it ahead of time.
Also, now I've heard like rumors yesterday that they're starting to hold reservations for hotel guests.
I saw that too.
So if something goes wrong, you can always just try to pop in and see if they have like availability for you. So that's another thing.
Outstanding. Well, you let us know. You going back to Akershus? Are you going to check out Kona Cafe, or you digging that Tusker House buffet coming back, character style? By far, I think one of the best theme park buffets anywhere is at Tusker House.
It smelled really good every time we walk by. I'm not a big buffet person, but man, it smells so good.
Outstanding.
I gotta say, I appreciate your pronunciation of Akershus.
Akershus?
You do. I feel like you do it
Where is
properly.
that at again?
I think everybody else is just like, I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, no.
I can't.
Yoo-hoo!
Woohoo!
Big summer blowout. Akershus. Yep. Head on over to Norway and get yourself some chicken and dumplings, by George. Well, we have some unfortunate news, depending on what camp you reside in. Walt Disney World is being sued by annual pass holders now for park reservations. Cinema Blend reports that a lot of things have changed at Disneyland and Walt Disney World since the pandemic that fans don't love. They say that chief among them is the requirement that in addition to purchasing valid tickets, guests must also make reservations before entering the parks. The system, combined with annual passes, has caused some headaches in the past, which ultimately led to a current lawsuit against the Disneyland Resort. And now a pair of Florida residents are suing Walt Disney World over the same policy. The issue is one regarding the availability of theme park reservations and blockout dates. According to Florida Politics, 2 residents of the state of Florida who have annual passes to Walt Disney World that are supposed to be valid 365 days a year are suing because, due to the reservation system, there are dates they cannot enter the park because reservations for APs are, quote, sold out, despite the fact that reservations for other Disney World ticket holders are still available. The Disneyland lawsuit in California survived an early attempt at dismissal, and so it would seem that both sides will be able to make their legal arguments. The next step in the California case will now be even more important to Disney, as the results there could be a preview of what's likely to happen in Florida as well. Tyler has mentioned lawsuits against Disney on both coasts now. How do you think this will impact annual pass holders as well as the park reservations in the future? We've got double jeopardy going on here. Whoa.
Wow, remember that terrible movie, Double Jeopardy?
That was an awful movie.
That was a bad movie.
And it's the wrong terminology to use here. But we have double the threats. Double the threats going on.
Honestly, I think they're going to lose. I think Disney's going to win is what I mean. I don't think that this has that much merit. I don't think the reservation system is going to be changing much either, honestly. I think the only way it's going to impact people, or the major way it's going to impact people, is they're just going to change the nomenclature. They're going to change the way that this stuff is written, and they're still going to continue to kind of screw over their annual pass holders, to be honest. They obviously have the numbers that tell them they make more money off of these people who are coming in out of state. You know, they want to sell ticket packages. They want to do all these things that are going to make them more money. And, I hate to say it, but annual pass holders, Magic Key holders, all of us, we're all second-class citizens. And they try and make you feel special by, building you a Magic Key terrace or giving you a bumper sticker from time to time. But just remember that they don't make as much money off of us as far as they're concerned. And I've always been curious, because I feel like a lot of annual pass holders do spend a decent amount of money, but apparently they think we don't. So how will this affect us? I don't think it's really going to affect us much. I think they're going to keep the reservation system pretty much the same. I just think that they're going to change their wording ever so slightly to protect their asses a little bit better. You know,
Yep.
I can't really see this lawsuit winning, unfortunately. As much as I would like these people to win and Disney be like, oh, shoot, we got to do something now. Like, I would love that, but I just don't see it happening.
I think that they are pretty darn clear when it comes to terms and conditions as to what the expectation is. In fact, the Magic Key language to begin with never really indicated a full 365 access plan when they rolled it out. They were very careful about that, and so I completely agree. I don't think that that's going to go anywhere. Disney World might be a little different, depending on what happens with that top tier pass and the language that they utilized out there. However, I think about these park reservations, and now that we're back to essentially full capacity everywhere, I know that the Walt Disney Company loves having this control over, who's coming to the parks and when. They say they can staff appropriately, those sorts of things. Something that they've always dreamed of for years. When I worked for the Disney organization, I remember hearing from executives all the time that they would kill to have that opportunity to control park attendance and to know exactly what was coming in and when. They now have that. I don't think that's ever going to go anywhere. The one thing that I do wish would be just gotten rid of, because it's so unnecessary now, is the crossover times if you have a park hopper ticket. It's so unnecessary, especially at a place like Disneyland and California Adventure, to keep one segment of your park population in one place until 1 p.m. And then you can cross over, and then you can get California Adventure if you started your day at Disneyland. Out at Walt Disney World, I believe it's 2 p.m., right?
Yeah.
It seems so unnecessary at this point when you've now voluntarily said, yeah, we're pretty much back to normal. So why are we causing this unnecessary rip? If I want to spend the majority of my day at Magic Kingdom versus Epcot, I should be able to do that.
I feel like I get what you're saying, and I feel like Disney World's different because I'm not going to go to Magic Kingdom because I have a reservation there, go in, scan my ticket, and then hop on a monorail and go to Epcot because that's where I actually want to go, and they didn't have any reservations. But with Disneyland, it's so close that I can see why they want people to kind of be in one park for a while, because then might as well just go on a couple rides, be wait in a queue and everything, and then head over to the park that they want to go to. But I would say at least, make it earlier at 11 o'clock or something. So instead of me waking, I only was able to make a reservation to go to, DCA, then I'm going to, scan my ticket at 8 a.m. and then just exit and then pop over to Disneyland. And I can see why they don't want that to happen, because I can see a lot of people going into DCA, scanning their ticket, and then just U-turn out and then just go into Disneyland. So I can see why they want to hold people in the park for a while. But I feel like it's just so late in the day that sometimes it's okay, well, maybe I do want to have lunch over at, Disneyland or something like that, or if I'm using the Genie Plus and I want to utilize my money, I have to wait until this point in time. So I feel like maybe around 11 is fair, just to keep people there for 3 hours, and then you can go.
I would take 11. I think that's a much better time. Have you caught the backups at the main entrance at just prior to 1
it's
p.m.?
scary.
Yeah,
When it first started, I remember there was a day where Tyler and I were stuck at the traffic or the parking garage because it was just a chaotic mess. And so by the time we were able to get into DCA, it was right at that point where everybody was lined up to go into DCA for Avengers Campus. And then we had 1 minute. I just looked and I was like, let's go. And then we had to run, quickly scan our tickets. And as soon as we got through, they allowed other people to go in. And then it was a stampede. It was so frightening. And now I feel like it's a little bit better maybe, but it's still a long line for people to go
Those
cross,
lines will often touch, going into both parks and you just watch. It's kind of a fascinating thing to see too. You watch as herds of people leave one park and go to the other. And now they've sectioned off whole entrance gate areas for only people that are hopping. And, they start forming about 30 minutes prior to 1 o'clock. And those lines will build and build and build until finally they start touching each other.
It's crazy.
It's a wild thing to see.
And if your goal is to make money off of people, then why are you putting them in this quarantine section where all they can do is stand there? If you're at Disneyland and you're oh, well, we want to go to California Adventure at 1, so, and it's 12:30 right now. Well, what are we going to do besides go and wait in line at the gate now? Because we can't, there's no eating. You don't want to start eating something. You don't want to get in line for anything like Indiana Jones. It's okay, I guess we're just going to be stagnant right now. We're going to be in purgatory. So let's just go and stand and
with the rest of the cattle.
Yeah, exactly. And then Disney won't be making any money. So I don't get it anymore. I think you're right. Let's
I feel like
abolish
11
it.
or 12 o'clock is at least fair. I mean, I'm because I'm imagining like if it's this bad at like the 1 o'clock mark for people to like go in, I can't imagine at 8 a.m. during the holiday season. Everybody wants to go to Disneyland. No one wants to go to DCA in the morning. Everybody clocks in at DCA, scans their ticket, does a U-turn, and goes to Disneyland. And then there's a chaotic mess in the beginning of the day. But then, like even at Disney World, I feel like 2 o'clock is so stupid. Like it's
really late.
it is so long of a day. Like where you want to go on a couple rides over at somewhere, and then it already takes an hour to get from one park to the next park with their bus system. That is just kind of like, okay, great. So now I'm losing how many hours? Because again, like you're waiting for an hour, half hour before you're able to like cross into like the next park. So
and you've mentioned before too, obviously places like Hollywood Studios, which many view as sort of a half-day park, you know, for most folks that go in and recognize that there's only a handful of attractions that you can really hammer out in a pretty short amount of time. To have the ability to park hop from, say, a park like that, or even Animal Kingdom, which I feel like, you know, on top of Hollywood Studios, I feel like there's even far less to do. And so you're able to jump when you'd like with the park hopper ticket of old, and now you have to wait. And it just feels like I paid the money. Perhaps I should have the privilege that I paid for a little earlier in the day. But
it would be nice.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. You let us know. Do you think that this Walt Disney World lawsuit is going to go anywhere? Do you agree with Tyler that it's dead in the water? We'd love to hear your perspective. All right, y'all. We got Gared Hassel coming up next for the Disney List. Stick around. Remember those carefree days of childhood where the magic still existed? When you didn't feel guilty about eating mountains of cereal with, we'll just say, questionable nutrition? Well, now you can have your cereal and you can eat it too. Because Magic Spoon has re-engineered that same great taste with grown-up ingredients for an absolutely game-changing Cereal 2.0. I adore cereal. I treasure cereal. It's one of my favorite things to eat, but I just can't justify eating mounds of sugar in every bowl. I don't need to worry about that with Magic Spoon, because it's high protein, low carb, and 0 grams of sugar in each serving. I know, it's hard to believe, but it also comes in 6 delicious flavors: frosted, fruity, cocoa, cinnamon, blueberry, and peanut butter. Plus, they've got limited edition flavors released throughout the year, like gingerbread or peaches and cream. So taste that magic of childhood all over again and get yourself some Magic Spoon cereal. Plus, take $5 off your order at checkout. All you got to do is insert the promo code Kingdom Team. That's right, Kingdom Team at checkout will get you $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com. That's magicspoon.com. Promo code Kingdom Team. Time for the Disney List. Taking a look at some of the best and maybe not so great things across the Walt Disney Company. Today focusing all on the Disneyland Resort, specifically the holidays. Coming up 2022, it is time for the Christmas Jingle Jangle, and we want to share with you how to make the most of the holiday season at the Disneyland Resort. This isn't just how to strategize. This isn't just what you should go on or eat or do. This is really making the most of your visit. Are there things that you should do that maybe people haven't thought about? Are there things you should do outside of, say, just waiting for a Christmas fantasy parade? Well, we have a great group of experts here to share with you some of their strategies, some of their thoughts when it comes to the holiday season at the happiest place on earth. Joining us once again, Gared Hassel, the Golden Goose, as we like to refer to him. We have our terrific he's got himself some analysis in his mind. He's all about the theme park analysis, Tyler Crouch, and travel agent in residency, Katrina Manzone. Great to see you all.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy
Stop
Halloween
it, you
and
guys.
I guess Merry Christmas.
Keep it coming.
Ho, ho, ho. And hello.
Oh,
Hello.
hi.
Oh, hi.
What'd you call
Hey.
me? Sorry, that joke is going to happen a million times during Christmas. Sorry.
I didn't catch it at first. Whoop.
Nice try. Wow, I appreciate that. Well, we wanted to go around sort of the virtual desk here and ask everybody, what are some of the ways you would make, the most of your Disneyland Resort holiday season, especially for the folks in this room with me. They are locals to Disneyland. Gared, a California boy at heart, certainly now abroad.
Yeah.
The other side of the country. But he definitely spent a lot of time at Disneyland. So, Gared, let's start with you. What are some of the ways in which you would make the most of a 2022 Disneyland Resort Christmas season?
To make the most out of it, first things first, you need to enter when the third shift is leaving. So pretty much 6 a.m., you need to be inside the park before the park's even officially open. So that way you get even more time. I'm just kidding.
6 a.m.
so that they can kick you out and you'll be trespassed.
Yeah, you will not be asked to come back. You will be on the naughty list for Santa and Mickey and Walt. Essentially, to enjoy the most, I would say you need to be at the park almost at park opening, if not a little bit after. Maybe avoid the initial crazy rush, and you need to take your time taking all the sights and sounds, but you just need to be in the moment. It's not a typical Disney trip. It's not like going to Disneyland, say, during the summertime with all the holiday decorations, all the sights and sounds. You really need to be looking around, paying attention to everything, because you don't get to see this all the time. And me, as someone who doesn't get to go to Disneyland as often as everyone else in our virtual room, looking at all the sites, it's different than Disney World. Disneyland, I think, does a better Christmas and holiday extravaganza than Disney World does. It's a lot more intimate. It's a lot more beautiful. So, take that time, enjoy all the different sights and sounds, and just really immerse yourself in the experience. Don't just be like, oh, it's a day at Disneyland. No. Oh. It's a holiday experience at the Disneyland park, and you need to just bask in all its glory. And I would say the second thing is, for me, you need to do Haunted Mansion Holiday and, It's a Small World Holiday, because they are so immaculate and beautiful. And they don't do that at Disney World. They only do half of it at, Disney Tokyo. So you need to do both of those. I think it's something about the crispness in the air and just like all the beautiful lights that make it so just beautiful. And it's the perfect for the holiday experience. You can't beat Sandy Claus, greeting you outside Haunted Mansion Holiday. And I find it better at like twilight, if not nighttime, to experience both these, because the lights are on, you're in the atmosphere, and it's just like it's like you're getting ready for a nice cozy winter evening. All you need is some hot cocoa, some cookies, and just a little bit of holiday splendor to make your day that much more better.
And I will share that you touched on it there, the level of detail at Disneyland versus Disney World during the holidays. And I think it's just a sheer geography thing, where Disney World is so huge that they're like, here, put a wreath over there and string some lights over there and keep moving. Whereas Disneyland, there's such a significant amount of detail put into every nook and cranny, because there isn't miles and miles between the parks. There aren't all of those extras that they have to worry about, but it feels like they can be more particular about the way in which things are done. And you're right, the intimacy feels very strong at Disneyland during the holidays.
You're right. I like it. I love Disneyland's Main Street more than Magic Kingdom's, and I focus on this several times in our several meetings. Disneyland's Main Street is significantly longer, and it doesn't have the giant bells. It has those nice, beautiful, garland going across Main Street, and it's closer to the guest. I think it puts you like you're actually in Marceline, Missouri. You're there with Walt, versus Disneyland. It can seem sort of gaudy sometimes, especially when they do the tree lighting at 3 p.m. when it's super dark outside. That makes a whole lot of sense. Versus Disneyland, I think they get it right. And Disney World has an entire warehouse dedicated just to holiday decoration. Well, Disneyland, it's dealing with a few square city blocks where they have to fit everything in, and they have to put it in a day. While I feel like Disney World, they sort of build it over time. Disneyland gets it done right. Main Street is beautiful, and the perfect time of day is when the sun's setting and the lights come on.
You love your twilight time.
I do. It is the perfect time of day. Even Walt, in the Imagineering story, he talks about his favorite time of day is when the sun is going down, the lights come on. It's a very special time, especially when the holiday magic is in the air. I love the holidays at the Disney parks more than probably anything else. I truly miss Disneyland, so I need to make a trip out there and experience all that splendor and all that magic for the
You
holidays.
do. Don't cry.
I'm trying not to. It's very emotional stuff.
hear it coming.
Magic.
I know, gosh.
It's bubbling up.
Oh, I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes.
Oh,
Look, we
I
got a
don't
little
know.
song
Christmas is
happening.
all around us.
Wow. Let's go. Keep it going.
Oh my gosh. It's a great song, man. It's a great song. You got me all the feels, all the Christmas feels.
You hear that, Gared? You got her the
Yeah.
feels. Well done.
I'm happy to assist in all that. And then, like,
Gared's all about
it's
feeling.
weird. It's weird talking about Christmas, even though it's not even Halloween yet. But it's never too early to talk about Christmas.
Yeah.
My
No.
girlfriend
I
Ariel,
agree.
pretty much once like October hits, she's like, I'm skipping Halloween. I go immediately to Mannheim Steamroller, holiday Christmas music, winter season, because holidays short-lived, and I love Disney doing the winter season more than the Halloween season. And Halloween's bomb, don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
Christmas is a time where and the holidays are a time where people come together. The world's just a little bit nicer. People are a little bit more magical, and at Disney World, there's significantly less fights.
Yeah, I feel like
There's a
it
lot of fights at
amplifies during
Disney World.
Christmas, but okay.
I don't know what it is, but Disney World is like, UFC, while Disneyland is like, playground. Like, it's just like, might be a little tussle, but you get over it, while Disney World is like, you're like,
What is
there to
happening?
go.
There might be a little
I
bit
will
of
fight-
domestic abuse, but
I will
then whenever
fight
we
you
all get
around
over
the
it, it's all
world
good.
in Epcot. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So holiday season makes everyone a little bit nicer overall, and that's what I like.
Yeah, sure.
I hope.
At any rate, Katrina,
Yes.
you love yourself some Christmas.
Oh,
You love yourself some holidays. What are some of the ways you make the most of the holiday season at the Disneyland Resort?
Oh my god.
Oh!
I know. I have so many things. I'm like, just two? Okay. Can I have my own show, please? Talk about all the Christmas stuff.
An hour dedicated just to that.
Just everything Christmas.
Just to that.
Just Christmas. Okay. I've said this, I don't know how many times on the show.
Say it again.
And I swear it is like the best thing to feel all the feels. It just is so amazing. Is you take the monorail like at night before it closes and downtown Disney, and you take the monorail if you have a valid ticket to go into Disneyland.
Right.
Then you go into Disneyland
Makes a difference.
and then you circle around and you pass by the Small World facade, and it is beautiful. It glistens in the night, and it's just sparkly and pretty, and all these Christmas lights. It's just like so colorful. But you turn around the bend, and then it's just like darkness, and all of a sudden it's like ah, and then you get this like beautiful facade, and then you just like feel Christmas.
It's like angelic
Oh
almost.
my
You
God.
come
and
around
then
that
if it
corner.
rains, and like the ground is kind of like wet.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started.
Oh my
Speaking of
gosh.
glistening.
Yeah.
Woo, it is gorgeous. And so that's one thing. Yes.
Katrina, are you saying that Disneyland's Small World is better than Disney World's,
Yes.
massive, version of it with its little tents and whatnot next to Pinocchio's?
You mean the Small
Village
World
House?
facade under a roof
Yeah.
inside a building?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I do not disagree. Disneyland knocks out the park. World's Fair. They got it right. Disney World is like a pathetic excuse of an attraction, honestly.
It's true.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
not the same.
I don't know what it is in Disney World, too, but every time I go on Small World and Disney World, everybody is taking flash photography pictures the entire time. I'm like, why
Don't
is
even
this
get me with the
happening?
selfie sticks when they had those babies.
Yeah.
It's not even a thing anymore. Thank gosh.
My gosh.
I mean, there are some people that do it, but
Shame on them.
just get out of here.
Usually confiscated really
But
quick.
like, oh man, just when I remember doing like the marathons, and like we had to do it, and like they were just taking down like the Christmas lights and everything for Small World, because that's like usually the last thing that gets taken down. And oh my gosh, running in the like at 4 a.m. in the middle of Disneyland, and then you get like all of a sudden it's like this darkness going like through Toontown, and then you just pop out, and then all of a sudden you see this like bright light of Small World facade, and you're like, oh my god, I'm almost done. And that's all I think about when I did the marathons.
Yeah.
I was like, what? 5 more miles to
When's
go.
it
Here
over?
we go. But man, that is like the best thing. And then you get off, you go just stroll around Disneyland. You don't even go on rides. Like you just like, and then like right after, like right before close is like the best time because everybody wants to scramble after the fireworks to go, you know, on their last ride or whatever. And if you are okay with just like wandering around the parks like right before close, and then you just get to see like the sparkly lights and just feeling like the Christmas spirit, then just do it. It's just like so amazing. And then another one is just grabbing a drink, eating some food over at DCA, and then listening to all the amazing bands that they have ready, like Mostly Kosher, Mariachi Divas, with the Fat Cat Swingers. Yeah. And it's just, and then you go and then you just get to see Viva Navidad, which is like my favorite thing. And so it's just so fun. Like that place is always just like busy during Christmas and it's so fun. So like that's like an all day kind of thing. If you don't mind, like if you don't really want to ride rides, you just eat, listen to music all day, you wander, and then at night it just kind of, you go through the Redwood Trail and it's just like really pretty lights. Like that's what I like, I guess. It's just really pretty lights that I'm like, ooh, sparkly. Ooh, sparkly.
Oh.
And then so that's like my my things.
That's beautiful. And obviously you spotted earlier this past week some Christmas decorations going up on that Redwood Creek Trail.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's things happening.
I can't wait for that bear to put on his sweater.
Oh man, it is almost sweater weather.
Wear that sweater.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tyler, you got
Yes,
some
sir.
for us?
I sure do. I think the best time of year for me personally is the winter time, and I get it. I live in Southern California. If you are not from Southern California and you live in some place where it snows, I totally understand not liking winter. But I'm a Southern California boy. I love winter. I think one of the best things to do while you're at Disneyland is just accept and indulge in the weather. I really do think there's something to looking at all the beautiful lights, having a nice little hot chocolate, putting on some mittens, a jacket, some pants.
Mittens?
Some mittens,
Can't we put? It's like 1 month out of the, not even 2 weeks out of the year.
It gets cold enough sometimes
It's
where you're
true,
going to want to
it's
put
true.
some gloves on. Okay, if you don't want mittens, get some gloves. You can do you. But I just think embracing the coldness and just being one with the entire atmosphere, that is kind of the whole vibe to me of Christmas, of like, oh, maybe, we were talking about a little bit of rain on the ground. I think, just a little nip in the air, and that's just get some hot chocolate and relax.
Grab yourself a gingerbread man.
Yeah,
Oh,
whatever
man.
you got.
Nobody makes them better.
Yeah.
That's true. And a candy
Bakeries at
cane, if you're
Disneyland.
a lucky one. One of those. If you have a leftover candy cane that you don't want, that's unlicked, I would love it.
Unlicked.
Yeah.
Please.
No licked candy canes. No, thank you.
No licked candy canes. Yeah, like the gingerbread, you can get a pretty good one over at like Grand California and stuff. You can smell the gingerbread that they have over there, the little hotel, and then grab a gingerbread and just sit by the fire.
Sit by the fire.
Nibble.
Roast.
You gotta Katrina nibble your cookie.
We know how she eats. It's interesting.
That's why I wear mittens, because it's perfect. I'm like, no
Her and her
gloves.
mittens. That's
Fingers
right.
are free. You gotta hold them in with the mittens.
You a gingerbread cookie fan there, Gared?
Well, a little while back I did do the cookie trail at
did.
Epcot. So yes, I love
Cookie
anything and
monster.
everything cookies. Ironically, sugar cookies are my least favorite. I just think they're a little plain. But gingerbread cookies, they're solid. They got like little
They're definitely
buttons,
solid.
little gumdrop buttons and whatnot. Like I think they're cute and
Oh my
fun.
God,
And
drop
that-
buttons.
wrong franchise.
monster!
But it just gingerbread cookies, they just add a little spice to the whole atmosphere. I'm a chocolate chip man myself,
Yeah,
but
let's go.
hot
Give me a
cocoa,
snickerdoodle.
gingerbread man, you're good to go. I think it's solid. And Tyler, I think the sweaters at Disneyland, I think it's just a perfect, like, sweaters and Disneyland just go together, because in Florida, you go to a Christmas party and it's like tank tops and shorts and flip-flops because it's 85 out in December, and you're like, this is the most ironic thing in the world. It's colder in Hawaii, but like Hawaiian shirts and Christmas actually go together. But yeah,
It's
a
true.
nice sweater, an ugly Christmas sweater at Disneyland, boom, perfect day, perfect night.
It's funny, there is something about Disneyland where I'm totally okay with wearing like whatever gaudy piece of clothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can let yourself go at Disneyland, but if you're like walking down the street in like Studio City or something, it's like,
No.
I don't want to be seen in this very bright sweater, right? You know, but
I think it's part of the overall theming. Like Disneyland is come here to be yourself, you know, do whatever you want, dress up, dress down. It's your place. But
be as gaudy as you'd
Universal-
like.
exactly.
It's true.
Let my inner gaudiness out.
It's the Tyler
Just
way.
gaudy all the time.
Anything else on your list?
I like to gaudy all the time, as Eddie Murphy kind of said. Anyway,
One of his favorite catchphrases.
yeah. So I don't know. I feel like for my second one, everybody has kind of touched on a lot of what has, what I was thinking, but I just think, indulging in all those holiday activities is really just the fun time. I mean, I'm with Katrina that Viva Navidad is like one of those things where when I see it, I feel like the first time I see it every season, I literally tear up, and I'm just so happy for it to come back. And it's just such a fun time, and it really just, especially I feel like California Adventure now is even getting better than Disneyland when it comes to all the holiday stuff, because you go into Cars Land and have a little season speedings, and they put up all the decorations there, and there's just something really fun about seeing them decorate Cars Land with all of the car body parts, and and I just think that it kind of goes with the weather, I guess. It's just like, enjoy what you're doing while you're there. Just like take it in, let it just wash over you, and just like be thankful. I think that's really what it boils down to, is just like take it in. I think I'm just gonna repeat myself.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Take it in.
Take it in. Wash it over you. All those things.
Yeah.
I think that we can all be like, there's been tough times for everybody. I get it, but when we get to the holiday season, I think it's time where we need to reset. It's gonna be the new year soon.
Put your phone down.
Just, be with who you're with and love them, and just.
Well, he didn't say you.
Oh, God.
He just kind of gestured.
Ugh.
Why is Wade throwing me under the bus over here?
I didn't want her to put words in your mouth, Tyler. I'm
guess
looking
'cause
out
talking
for
to
you.
Gared, I
Oh,
was
thank
like,
you.
Yeah,
oh,
right.
I
ugh.
appreciate it.
How
Yeah.
dare he?
Of course, he means you. Yes, being thankful this time of year is absolutely, the best possible advice. And as you go about, perhaps the greatest of all spaces when it comes to Christmas, Disneyland does it like nobody else on earth. You have a lot to be thankful for.
Magical.
For sure. Extra magical. That's right. And you let us know, how do you make the most of a Disneyland holiday season? We would love to hear from you. Do you have a tradition? Is there something specific you go out of your way for? Throw it in the comments. All right, you stick around. A little bit more Kingdom Report Live for you next.
Looking for some digital magic to help you through your week? The Kingdom Report is here for you, covering the latest Disneyland and Disney World news, experiences, and events. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Kingdom Report Live so you never miss an update. And drop a subscribe on the Kingdom Report YouTube channel for new videos every week. Don't miss out. Join this growing community of theme park fans as we aim to connect you to more of what makes you happy. For more information, visit KingdomReportLive.com. And now, back to the magic.
One thing time. Taking a look at the one thing from across the Walt Disney Company that we focus on in this segment. And this time around, it's the one reason you choose to visit Disneyland Park. It is the most happiest of places. It is Walt Disney's original Magic Kingdom, and here with us today to talk about it, Gared, Hassel, Tyler Crouch, Katrina Manzone, all to share their thoughts on the one main reason they choose to visit Disneyland Park. And we'll start with Tyler. What do you got? I mean, this place means an awful lot to individuals around the world. Certainly, I know it holds a special place in your heart. Tell us why.
I mean, I think I got to go with the corny answer, to be honest with you. And the number one reason for me is just family. Honestly, it's
Corny.
It really is just a very special place to me in the way that my dad has unfortunately passed away. It was his birthday recently, and it's it's kind of tough thinking about those sorts of things. But every time you go to Disneyland, you remember like all the good times you had there. He used to take me to the Disneyland Hotel every other year, and I remember going there when like even the marina was still there. So it has a lot of, it was we ate at Stromboli's one time, the pasta place. I guess they probably had pizza too. I don't remember what they had, but yeah, that was a long time ago. And so it brings me closer to people like my father, and of course I went with my mom and sister as well plenty of times, and have fond memories of having annual passes with them. And my sister would dress up like Minnie Mouse or sometimes Snow White and stuff, and it was always just a fun time for us all. And then as well as just even fast forwarding a little bit, and when I first met Katrina, we met at Universal Studios. We met, well, not at Universal Studios, but we were going to Universal Studios as a group, and she was like, she was visiting, and she's like, I really want to go to Disneyland. And I'm like, I'll go to Disneyland with you. Let's go. And so
Smart
really like
choice.
the first full, yeah, exactly. She's smart. The first like full day that we really spent together, like even like really one-on-one time, was just going to Disneyland together. And since then it's become our home, and we love going together. And it's something we do almost every weekend if we can swing it. And and even to be a little more abstract about the whole family situation, we have met so many great people that work over there or that also are just friends of friends, and we just go there, and it's almost like Thanksgiving any time of year you want, So it's to me, it really boils down to just families, memories, and it's a great place to foster those things.
Beautifully said. And we turn it on over to you at the Kingdom Report YouTube community page, asking you sort of a similar question. Why do you choose to visit Disneyland? Here's what you said. Grandpa Ross saying, it's a total escape, a different world with magic and momentary joy. Mike says, it's a nostalgic place for me to blow off steam, and my kid really enjoys it. Douglas says, it's a place where I don't have to worry about what's going on in the real world and in my life. And October Queen says, I can be a little girl one more time and forget the adult life. Sad things like when my brother passed away, and just living the perfect moment. Childhood. Heart emoji. Mike Temple says, it's home. And Tinkershell says, it gives me life. Blue heart emoji. And Katrina, same question for you. What is the one main reason you like visiting Disneyland Park?
I feel like everybody said kind of like how I feel too, and like Tyler as well. Like I've always had fond memories when I was a kid. I think it's like a great escape. I think it's fun. Again, you just feel like you belong in Disneyland. Like I feel like it's just like a warm hug. Like
Magical.
You're seeing. I know it's so magical. Like I feel like I always compare it with Disney World. So like Disneyland, I feel like I'm coming home to family, or Disneyland, I feel like I'm coming home to family. And then with Disney World, I feel like I'm seeing like an aunt or an uncle. Where you're kind of like, it's great to see you, but I can't stay there all the time. But then Disneyland, I can go every day, over and over and over again, and I always feel welcome, and it doesn't feel like cold and corporate. Like Disneyland and it's like the original park. Like you feel the love that Walt put into it, and then it's just like there's just so much history, and like I'm like a history nerd, so I just love when you get to go to a place and there's just so much of that stuff. And then on top of it, it's fun to like see your friends, and then it just makes you want to keep coming back and just popping in to say hi to people. And then with Tyler and I, like that was our place. Like we would always love going there. When we started dating, it was kind of like hey, what do you want to do? I don't know, what do you want to do? Let's go to Disneyland, and then so we'd go to Disneyland for like not even like 3-4 hours, just walk around, have dinner or something, and then we would go to like
Watch Mad Tea Party.
Mad Tea
I
Party.
miss Mad Tea Party.
Crazy. Go to eat at Steakhouse 55 for like a date night or a date breakfast, kind of thing. It was fun. R.I.P. Steakhouse 55. But it was always just like it's like a fun place to go. And then I love Disneyland.
It's nice having it in your backyard to be able to do all those things,
I know.
right? Very, very,
We're very
fortunate.
lucky. We're very, very lucky.
Yes.
Absolutely. A tremendous gift to have it, locally to so many of us. Somebody who it's not local for, Gared Hassel. So when you come to Disneyland, it's even more special, I would imagine, because you're coming from afar.
Yeah. When I did the Disney College program, I had the opportunity to choose between Disney World and Land, and I specifically chose Disney World because Disneyland for me is like a second home. It's where I fell in love with Disney. It's where I got to experience like what Imagineering is. And when I was younger, I wanted to be an Imagineer. I wanted to make these attractions and experiences. So after going to Disney World and working there, Disneyland is just a way to breathe and say, "Oh, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to go run around at work. It's man, I get to have fun, get to be myself, not have to worry about like running into a coworker or anything like that, or seeing people. It's just being in my own zone, being where Walt started it all. And for me, I feel that Walt magic. It's cheesy, but Walt, like you can say Walt touched this, and like you're part of that immersive experience. It's not as corporate and cold as Tyler and Katrina have spoken about.
It's definitely true. You're right.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's warmer. It's more welcoming. You see, I think the food's better. The cast members seem a little bit happier. I don't know. Maybe it's just the California weather not being humid or whatever. But Disneyland just it wasn't work for me. It's where I grew up, where I got to go twice a year as a kid, and just got to be in all that. Plus, it's got Indiana Jones Adventure. You can't beat that. Like that beats out all of
Can't
Disney
beat
World.
that.
No dinosaur
Yeah,
can beat
like-
that.
Yeah, no, take that dinosaur. The only thing I miss is left, right. Like that's the only pro about that experience. But other than that, Disneyland just is a very warm and welcoming experience. It's not as big and as gaudy as Disney World. It's intimate, it's small, and the moment you walk through, that archway, you see the attraction posters, and you're in Main Street. You're like, man, like this just feels so nice and
So
you
right.
feel like you're in. Yeah, it does. It feels like you're in actual town, not this, like this built thing in the middle of Florida. It feels like it was there from the get-go. And
Feels quaint.
Yeah, no, Disneyland was done right. Downside is, all of Southern California built around it, so you couldn't expand out more. But in a way, I think that makes it a little bit more special. That with such a small amount of land, every ounce of it is being used efficiently, and you don't hear the outside world. You don't hear LA, you don't hear Southern California. It's amazing. So yeah, Disneyland just welcoming, warming, and just a loving place to be. I really, really miss it.
Feels like a hug. Yeah, I often told people when I worked there that Disneyland was actually built around the Matterhorn, which was, of course, at the time called Mount Anaheim, which everybody believed. Shockingly. So
I feel like, what?
yeah. I was like, oh yeah, no. So Walt was looking for a mountain in the middle of a valley, and he
God.
found this one, and he just themed it.
Too bad, it's too bad that there was an abominable snowman in it, but
Yeah.
something he was willing to work with.
And that the Matterhorn came along years after Disneyland opened. So anyway,
It's the one place of snow in Los Angeles and the Southern
that
California
peak
area
is so
that never
high.
melt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
goes on
it's
forever.
wild.
That's
Yeah,
right.
with the zip line attached to it, came like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
How do you think they got down off the top when they climbed all the way to the peak?
True.
Makes
Makes
sense to
sense.
me.
Yeah.
Basketball court in a mountain, you can't pass up that sort of already
Can't pass
built,
that up.
like
That's right.
like man-made. Not man-made. That was Mother Nature made.
Mother
Mother
Nature
Nature.
made.
Mother Nature invented basketball.
She knows.
So in the middle of Orange County.
Will you let us know, are you somebody who has a particular reason why you visit the Disneyland theme park? We would love to hear from you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that about brings this broadcast to a close. Before we get out of here, as a reminder, you can win your very own Kingdom Report mug. All you got to do, leave the phrase that pays underneath this video on our YouTube channel over at the Kingdom Report. As soon as the live video is over, leave the comment, Haunted Mansion Holiday. Haunted Mansion Holiday is the phrase that pays this week. And if you are the winner, we will reach out to you and let you know. Get that mug on the way. You have between now and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time to leave that comment beneath this video after the live broadcast. And for all of us at the Kingdom Report, it means so much that we could spend a little bit of time with you. Hope you have a happy Halloween. And remember, the legacy of Walt Disney, what lives on because of people like you and me. We'll see you next time for another edition of Kingdom Report Live.